Hello everyone, my name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Summer, written by David Updike. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. This short story by David Updike is very interesting. It pretty much begins with like this breakdown of Summer, where Homer, Sandra, and Fred. They're all friends, and they pretty much every summer they go together to Sandra's and Fred's family cabin, and there's a lake there. And we pretty much we're told that it's August, the beginning of August, and these young adults or you know teenagers, older teenagers, they always come to this cabin in the summertime. They go swimming, boating, they play sports, and they just enjoy each other. So it's a annual summer getaway that they always take together, and you get the sense right away from this short story that these individuals, they've grown up together. They were friends as kids, and they got along as kids, and they all knew each other. But Homer and Fred, I mean, they're the close friends here. It's pretty much the trope where my best friend's sister. You develop friend feelings for your best friend's sister, and that's the situation you see in Summer by David Updike. But the first thing you get introduced to again is the beautiful scenery at this lakeside getaway, the cabin, the mornings, like the description that goes into the trees, the leaves, the animals, like the dog and the birds and the water and all the things you can do there. It really feels majestic and calming and really nice, like a nice place to be, a peaceful place to be. And it's like it reminds me of early emotions that you have as a kid, or like the early emotions that you get when you like someone for the first time, when you like a girl for the first time. And pretty much we see Homer. It's both strange and interesting because, like, okay, in the story, Homer and Fred, they go drinking, they smoke cigarettes, they drive a car, they drive a boat. So I'm thinking these individuals have to be in their late teens or their early 20s. So they're not children, although sometimes while reading this it could feel like Homer is really really young at like 13, 14. But because I mean him and Fred are driving things and drinking and smoking, you have to put them at late teens or early 20s at least. So the emotions that develop, or the way that Homer is described, it's like the story kind of feels like adolescent love or adolescent interest, but the actions that these people are doing, like driving and drinking and smoking, it's like, and like Sandra, she has a job and she's working and they're driving. So like these are not kids, these are not like children, this is not like early middle school love interest. These are you know like young adults, like close to young adulthood at least. But the way that Homer's described, or the way that his crush on Sandra is described, is very childish, or the type of romance you would expect from a high school, um, from a high school couple. So they're not a couple. They don't date. Sandra and Homer, they don't date. You get that nice wonderful scenery, the setting, and how it's set up. And then you kind of see like Homer throughout the summer, he starts to notice, is like not immediately, but slowly he starts to develop emotions for Sandra. And he notices like the description of how he notices her body, and how he notices like how she moves, how she walks, how she talks. her activities, what she does after she's like gets a suntan, and like he has a mental image, mental thoughts about her, and slowly and surely his emotions for Fred's sister, like his best friend's sister, starts to develop. And he's like, it's kind of like, man, I didn't know that her beauty or my interest for her, I didn't know I had an interest for her. Because like it's really interesting, because a lot of guys, sometimes you're around girls who you think are your friends, the girls you knew as kids, but if you grow up with them, like when you get to your late teens or early 20s, you might be like, okay, maybe I like this person. And that's what pretty much happens to Homer in this short story. And I mean, it's very childish, and he never, although he likes her, although he wants to be with her, he can't bring himself to asking her out, or revealing his true emotions. Or it feels like he just won't do it. He just won't ask her out. And throughout the text, it's pretty obvious that there's some like hints or suggestions that she might be interested in him, but he pretty much stays quiet for most of the story, thinking about her, and then spending time with his best friend, was spending time with Fred, drinking, and doing all the things you would do in the summertime. And he pretty much lets the entire summer pass by without revealing his love, and that says a lot about human society, and the roles of men and women. That although it's clear that Sandra, she somewhat or maybe has some feelings for him. You can't break that code, basically, if you're a woman, to ask a man out. Or maybe that's changing now, but for most of human history, if you're a woman, you're not supposed to be the starter of the relationship. And Homer, he's too chicken, he's too shy, he's too much in his head. Like, I mean, just ask her out. She says no. I mean, it's not the end of the world, and just go your own way. I mean, it's when you think about it too much, when you put too much pressure on yourself, then you never do it. You never ask out, or someone that you like, and then you end out missing your opportunity or your chance, because you were a coward and you wouldn't do it. So the story goes on, the summer goes by, and he spends all his time with his best friend while he's longing for this girl. And then close to the end of the story, what basically happens is that um, they're like pretty much sitting on the couch together. He's reading. He's like, it's kind of like all hope is lost. Nothing's ever gonna happen. And she like puts her leg on his, like they're on the couch, and she puts her leg on his back, and he carefully like hides his hand on the couch pillows and puts his hand on the arch of her leg. And it's kind of like this little moment, this little warm moment, where they kind of like, there's no words being spoken, but through that, the fact that she puts her leg on his back and she doesn't move her leg, and how he puts his hand on her leg and he doesn't move his hand, it's kind of like, I like you, you like me, we get it. It's kind of like a non-verbal, um, acceptance of how they both feel about each other. And the story pretty much ends there, and it says a lot about, if he had asked her, when they had more time, like, pretty much. And the thing is, like, he was never gonna ask her. It was literally left up to Sandra to, when she saw that nothing was gonna happen, it was the last day. She puts her leg on his back, and he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I should do something now." Which is really sad, because both of them are, I would call both of them cowards. Yeah, I would call both of them cowards, because they both waited until the last minute to do something when the summer's over, when time has passed. Because the idea that the story gives you is that maybe one day or maybe next summer they'll get together, but anything could happen in the next summer. Maybe she could find some other guy that she's interested in, or so for Homer, the ending could be very bad, because maybe Sandra, she finds somebody else that she's interested in, and forgets about him, because I mean, it's a long time until the next summer. So This is, I think there's several things to think about here in terms of analysis. This definitely looks at the female roles, male roles, and roles in terms of who can ask who out, and also, being shy, the amount of time you have to do something, and also to take chances, because life is short. You're not on this earth for a very long time. If you like someone, just tell them. And if they say no, well, you know, take a time out and then stand back up. That's just life. But it's a shame. It's sad in some ways, but also it's endearing and warm in some other ways, and how they finally admit their love for one another. Um, and one thing I do like about this is that it shows you that two people in a romantic sense can have a connection without the physical aspect of it, because most romance stories or love stories end in somebody kissing somebody else, but here it's innocent, it's playful, it's warm, it's kind, without the physical aspect, which is really interesting, because like in modern media today, in modern movies and modern books, it's always about gratification quickly. But here, these two individuals have grown up together, and they've developed an interest in each other. And you could see that this relationship might mean more than just the physical. But I could be wrong about that, because we do see how much time Homer spends on thinking about Sandra, like, and how she looks, how she moves, and her beauty and things like that. So it could go either way. It could be, if they ever would get in a relationship, it could be a very meaningful relationship, or also it could be a dumpster fire. Who knows? Anything could happen. But this story, from my point of view, it's okay. Um, it again, in terms of deeper meaning here, it looks at time. It looks at how things don't last. The summer doesn't last forever. Years don't last forever. Romances don't last forever. So if you're gonna do something, especially when it comes to dating or someone that you like, just do it. You don't have a lot of time, and just take a chance. So yeah, that's my summary analysis of the short story by David Updike. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.